Welcome to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County, and this show is about Plymouth County real estate. Our headline for the month is Sales Take Big Jump, Mortgage Volume Up. We are the recording agency of the county that records all real estate documents. We have an office in Plymouth at 50 Aubrey Street, a satellite office in Brockton, and a satellite office in Rockland. So let's go right to our numbers. Sales of property. There were 780 deeds recorded in April compared to the 773 in March, 34% higher than last April and up 33% year to date. The next bar chart you're going to see is a bar chart for mortgages. Mortgages are also up, though not as high as they were last year. You'll see from that chart there were 1,815 mortgages recorded in April, less than the 1,963 in March, but up 7% compared to last April rather. With 12 months worth of data, last year we had a 25% increase. People are still taking advantage of low interest rates to purchase properties and refinance. The next image you're going to see is a bar chart of foreclosure deeds. Foreclosure deed is when a lender has taken back a property from someone, and we had 51 foreclosure deeds recorded in April, more than the 76 in March, less than the 52 in April of last year, and with 4 months of data, 49% higher than in 2015. And foreclosure notices are pretty much along the same lines. You'll see that bar chart. There were 96 foreclosure notices recorded in April, up from the down from the 119 in March, up from the 70 in April, with 52% higher than last year for the first 4 months. Now I'm going to show you an image of foreclosure deeds and notices by community. Brockton, Plymouth, and Wareham have had the most trouble. You can see that with this foreclosure in orders of notice chart for April, although foreclosures do affect everyone in other communities. So our training room, which I've talked about before, when people can come in and get a hands-on training for how to search our system, will be held next on Thursday, June 2nd at 9 o'clock. Please call in advance as space is limited. 508-830-9290 for Lorna Green. We held a Lakeville Council on Aging meeting on Thursday, April 14th. Norwell office hours on April 28th. We're having office hours in Halifax Town Hall on the 26th of May. I also just want to highlight again, go to our website. We have a new property fraud alert. Anytime your name gets entered into the system, you get an email. It's a good way to track down whether anybody's putting things on record they shouldn't be. And also, I want to warn people once again, there's that semi-scam out there when people offer you to get a copy of your deed for $83 when you can go to one of our offices for $1 a page. In the next segment of the show, I have a great guest, Attorney John McCluskey. We'll be talking about another important area of real estate, the ability to protect your property if you go into a nursing home. It's called a Medicaid Trust. So stick with me and join me in the next segment. Thank you.
I'm Plymouth County Sheriff Joe McDonald, and I am here with East Bridgewater Police Chief John Cowan to tell you about our free alert system, Code Red.
On occasion, it is important that your public safety officials get you important information, such as a weather-related emergency, a missing child, or a major safety event.
There were 90 such occasions last year in which we contacted folks on their home and cell phones through Code Red program.
Do not miss important alerts. Share your cell phone number so that even if you are on vacation, you will be alerted to an important incident in your neighborhood.
Your phone numbers will not be shared, and you will only receive alerts that pertain to your neighborhood. If your number is unlisted and you have not registered with us, you will not get the call. Register your number with us through pcsdma.org or call us at 508-830-6200.
Your police and fire chiefs are always available to answer any questions you have or help you get set up for the free Code Red calls.
Welcome back to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. In this part of the show, we do something educational in nature. We've had surveyors, appraisers, commercial real estate brokers, and any other people that are involved in the real estate market. I have a great guest with me today on the show, attorney John McCluskey. John, welcome.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Now, I know you could probably fill up 3 or 4 shows with your expertise as a conveyancing attorney and many other stories along the way. But I really thought it would be important to talk about an area of elder law in a Medicaid trust in particular that I get questions about all the time. We go out and we do office hours throughout the town halls in the county, as well as going out to the Council on Aging individuals. And while we certainly can talk to them about homesteads and other things that they must do, there's a very complicated part of the law that I always advise them to go see an elder law attorney. So first, why don't you tell our viewers how long you've been an attorney and how it was that you chose to and became a certified elder law attorney.
Well, John, thank you for having me. And you're right, for many, many years, and still to this day, we do a lot of conveyancing in the office. But back in the mid-90s, I recognized the need to have really good advice out there for clients who were in situations who, as we were all getting older, were all concerned about how to protect their assets. One of the most common things that I find in my practice, in my elder law practice, is that when a client comes in or a couple comes in, their biggest concern is how to protect their home. And although they may have other assets, it's always the home that they're focused on. And in that regard, there are many, many things that we can do. It all really involves what their particular circumstances are. And I look at the whole picture. What I do is I first talk to them about what's going on with the couple or what's going on with the individual. How's their health? What's their age? What's their income bracket? And we try to develop a plan that will be tailored to that couple or to that individual. Oftentimes people come in and they say, my parents are getting older. What do I do? Well, I say the first thing is we need to get them in and let's talk to them. And let's find out what their needs are and what their desires are in protecting their assets. So what I do is I sit down and I go through the whole thing with the client, find out all of the particulars, and then I get into somewhat, but not in great detail, what's the rest of the family made up of and what are the other individual needs out there. So oftentimes we have a couple that might say, well, we've got a son or a daughter who has special needs. And in developing a plan, you have to really take that into consideration so that it's almost a two-step process. But almost all the time, what they want to do, the first thing they want to do is protect the family home. And when you mentioned a Medicaid trust, there are many, many facets to that. Sometimes it is a trust. In fact, the interesting thing is a lot of times clients come in and they say, I need a trust, I have to have a trust. Well, who told you that? Well, my next door neighbor told me that. And I said, what's the story with your next door neighbor? What's their makeup? And it turns out it's nothing like theirs. So the situation really has to be tailored to the individual's concerns and needs and situation in life. We often will use, the first thing we say is a revocable trust, one that they can revoke, really doesn't work in protecting assets for Medicaid concerns. And Medicaid concerns, as you know, is what if I end up in the nursing home? Or what if my spouse ends up in the nursing home? So if they want to do a revocable trust, I often say that's just not the right thing if you're concerned about mass health and protecting from Medicaid. Because the first thing Medicaid would do would be to say, revoke the trust. If it's revocable, revoke it. When you have a couple, by the way, and one person's in the nursing home and they have a revocable trust, we often do end up revoking that trust if they've already set that up, and then placing the assets or the home in the community spouse, the spouse at home. And that's fully protected. That's an exempt asset under the law. Going further, though, down the road, and they're healthy and they're getting into retirement years, we sometimes use an irrevocable trust. And we as elder law attorneys over the years have been using irrevocable trusts with what I call some escape hatches or some back doors.
Could I just jump in?
Sure.
So there is an organization that you train with to become an elder law attorney?
Well, I belong to the Massachusetts National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys.
Right.
And it's really a great group of lawyers, men and women throughout the Commonwealth. We have monthly meetings, there's newsletters, there's emails back and forth, and it's really a group of people who are dedicated to helping their clients. So, and in fact, I often reach out to other members of NALA and seek their advice in a particular situation.
Okay. I thought that was important.
Yeah, it's a great group of people, and when you're looking for a lawyer, you really should seek someone out who belongs to NALA or has had a lot of experience and training in that area of the law, because it really is, it's like there are so many areas of the law that I wouldn't go near because I just am not good at it. So especially this day and age, you know, when you're practicing law, you really have to know your stuff. Getting back to the trust, by the way, we over the years have used these irrevocable trusts, and Mass Health accepted them. Now they're attacking them. So the trusts have to be really irrevocable. And that becomes a real issue sometimes when the people find out that, gee, do I put this home into an irrevocable trust that I can't get out? I've developed a strategy that in the right situation, in the right family makeup, we often will transfer the home to a trust that the children create so that the parents can transfer the asset, the home, to that trust. Although that is revocable, Mass Health can't force them, the children, to revoke that trust. So perhaps the parents reserve a life estate, which will give them some tax advantages once they're gone, or give the children some tax advantages once they're gone. But also the life estate being the right to live in the property, no one can really undermine that right to continue on and live in the property. So when you get into a situation of trust, sometimes we do use an irrevocable trust. Oftentimes we use the revocable trust created by the children, and the parents transfer the assets in. There are other situations too, where, for example, let's say a child lives with the family and is taking care of a parent. That's called a caregiver child. And that caregiver child transferring the home at any time to the caregiver child, given the right circumstances under the Mass Health regulations, that house will immediately be protected. I also find sometimes in the right situation you can transfer to a disabled child or a disabled person, and there's no 5-year look back. The other thing, incidentally, is that the 5-year look back, you know, it's you can't give away your assets and then apply for Mass Health benefits within 5 years. And that creates all sorts of questions with clients. I'm sure you see that all the time. Transfers between spouses, there is no look back period, so there's no penalty. You can always transfer your home to your spouse if you're in the nursing home. And by the way, sometimes you can't do it yourself, so pre-planning is very important. Getting the general durable power of attorney signed well in advance, getting a healthcare proxy, and of course getting a will. Many people use the I love you wills, and when circumstances change and a spouse goes into a nursing home, you really should go and see an elder law attorney about that, because you need to change your will.
And I understand, and we've talked about this before, and our great friend who was the former chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Bob Creedon, has always looked at this as a middle-class effort to pass on some of your assets.
Absolutely.
To your family members.
Yeah.
And the balance is that you've worked your whole life to get an asset, and the cost of nursing home is so much they could suck it all up in a couple of years. But if you pre-plan with this vehicle, you can save some of that to pass on.
Yes, and even if you're not ready to put your assets into a trust, you really should do some pre-planning. because at some point you may not be able to do anything, and you have to have the power of attorney, you have to have that healthcare
Right.
proxy. And as I always tell my clients, the last place we want to end up is in court.
So basically, when someone is trying to qualify for Medicaid, that's when this becomes important, because they ask you to provide them with all of your assets when they were acquired or what was recently disposed of. You want to describe that process? I know
So if they're
you've had
on,
many Medicaid.
if they're on the
Yeah.
verge of applying for Mass Health,
Yeah.
well, the first thing we look for is what are the exceptions in being able to transfer assets. So if there's a spouse at home, you can almost certainly protect all or most of your assets. The spouse at home allows us to transfer assets to that spouse. There's a certain amount of money that you can keep. First of all, you can keep the home. Next, you can keep $120,000. The third is you can keep all of the spouse at home's income. And then what happens is that with any excess assets, we convert that to an immediate annuity. And the immediate annuity is treated as, for the spouse at home, the immediate annuity is treated as income, which is exempt. We've protected $1 million that way.
Right.
And you have to engage the insurance agent to come in and set up the specialized immediate annuity so that you can protect the assets.
So let's get into a bad example of somebody who has thought they've done the right thing their whole life. They own their house jointly. They're both getting in a situation. One all of a sudden gets very ill and has to go into a facility, and they haven't done any training. You go into a Medicaid meeting to see their eligibility, and what will the staff do for Medicaid then?
Right. So again, though, that's a married couple. You can protect assets with a married couple to a great degree.
Okay.
The real problem is when you don't have a spouse at home.
Okay.
I just left a client this morning, over 100 years old, who has decided she's going to go to a nursing home. She just can't make it anymore. She's in an assisted living facility. And she has about $100,000. No children living with her, no caregiver children. And really, you almost say, well, there's nothing you can do. In that type of a situation, we're using what we call a pooled trust. And so she can actually take her $100,000 or whatever the amount is and put it into a pooled trust, go to a nursing home, and that money can be accessed and used by her for a variety of needs while she's in the nursing home. And this lady actually is fairly healthy, but does need nursing home care. So she doesn't have to spend all of that down. That money can be there for her lifetime. We found that there were no disabled children, no caregiver child situation, no spouse at home. So the pool trust is a trust that we can use and immediately qualify her for Mass Health benefits. There is a payback at the end if she dies, but at least there's some type of a vehicle there to protect assets as best we can.
So I get questions all the time about someone that will end up with a Medicaid lien on their property. Can you explain that?
Okay, so let's say you are not married, widowed or divorced, whatever. You have a home and you go into the nursing home. The Mass Health won't force you to sell the home, and as long as you get your other assets down below $2,000, you can qualify for Mass Health. They then will place a lien on the home. Now, if you get better, and that happens sometimes, or you get to come home, the family puts together a plan where they say, let's take care of you at home. As soon as you come home, the Mass Health, although they've placed a lien on the house, they'll release it. So that will allow you to continue on with your life and have your home free of a lien, which would allow you, and you don't have to pay back Mass Health. It would allow you to sell the property and perhaps move to assisted living or something like that. A lot of people reserve life estates, which is the right to live there. So they'll transfer their home to their children, have a life estate, and then they end up in the nursing home. As long as the 5 years has passed, Mass Health again will qualify them, but they'll put a lien on the life estate. All that does is prevent the family from selling the home and so that Mass Health doesn't get money back. Again, if the person dies and there's a lien on the home, that life estate terminates and the Mass Health will release the lien. So there are lien situations that are okay. And of course, if you were in the nursing home and they had a lien on your home and you died, then Mass Health is going to get paid back. But they get paid back at the public rate versus the private rate.
Okay.
You know, the private rate is $10,000 or $12,000 a month, and the public rate is substantially less.
Yeah. So why don't you share your contact information right now to the viewers?
Okay. John McCluskey, and my office is at 1325 Belmont Street in Brockton. I live down in Duxbury, and I often see people. I volunteer once a month at the Senior Center in Duxbury just to help people in situations like that. My phone number is 508-583-2221. And in situations where if you can't come to me due to a disability, I often will come to the house and meet with people. I do that once or twice a month.
So we have a couple minutes left. I have heard that there are some pending proposals that might change the Medicaid reimbursement system.
Well, there's always
Right.
an effort to, clients come to me and they say, I hear the look-back period changed to 10 years. And I go, oh my God, I didn't know that. But, those are all
on the
started with
street.
rumors.
Right.
And so we by the way, NALA, the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, always works quite hard. And we have a lobbyist at the State House who will be working on issues like that all the time. And you mentioned Bob Creedon. He was very influential in helping us several years ago on changes in the legislature that really helped out the elderly folks in protecting their assets.
And there's always the balance of the government wanting to get paid against people that trying to preserve their assets.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's how and why they created this system.
Right, that's right. And we, in using this system, we apply the rules.
Right.
And the rules are the rules. And when we use them to our advantage.
Right. Well, I always tell people, be vigilant, be aggressive. Don't sit around when you think you might be looking to make some changes that you really ought to research and find out your options. Go talk to a lawyer, get your information together, and go meet with someone and see what the right fit for you is. But don't wait until it's too late.
Yeah, and even if you have family in other states, I, for example, keep that National Academy of Elder Law registry with me, and I'll say, well, go talk to so-and-so in Connecticut or California.
Great.
Yeah.
So can you just share your contact information once more?
Sure. John McCluskey. I'm at 1325 Belmont Street in Brockton. My phone number is 508-583-2221. And you can call my office anytime, make an appointment, or if you want to talk to me on the phone, I'll be happy to do that.
Great. Well, thank you.
Thanks, John.
I knew you'd be a great source of information.
Thanks.
Hello, I'm Plymouth County Sheriff Joe McDonald. I am here with my friend Pat to tell you about Safety Assurance, a free well-being call that assists people who want to maintain an independent lifestyle at home.
I receive a call on the mornings of my choice from the Sheriff's Department. I live alone, so it's reassuring to me that if I need help, I will get it.
10 lives were saved last year thanks to these calls.
Loved ones have peace of mind in knowing that you are starting your day safe and sound. This program is free, and I did not need to buy special equipment or sign any contracts.
If you or someone you know could benefit from this free service, please call our toll-free number, visit our website, or contact your local police, senior service agency, or veteran service agent. Your privacy will be protected. We want you and your family to enjoy life, and especially let us know that you are okay.
Welcome back to the Register's Report. I want to thank Attorney John McCluskey for his very good description on the issue that we said we would get to in the next program, all about the way to protect your home. If you go into a nursing home, for most people, your home is your most valuable asset, along with a homestead and other kind of things we've talked about. We just want people to be aware of these opportunities. In this segment of the show, we always try to do something a little lighter in nature. We talk about some of the holidays. In May, there are many. May Day, Law Day was May 1st. Cinco de Mayo, the 5th. Mother's Day was May 8th. Friday the 13th, the only Friday the 13th is in May in this calendar year. National Chocolate Chip Day is the 15th of May, and Memorial Day is the 30th. We're going to do a couple of our notable land records related to the holiday. I'm bringing forward the notable land record for one of our very well-known Plymouth County residents, Daniel Webster. Although he was born in New Hampshire, he was a Plymouth County resident, a great lawyer, practiced law in Boston, had been a congressman in New Hampshire, but became a United States senator in Massachusetts, was known as a tremendous public speaker, actually spoke once in Plymouth at what is now soon to become the new Plymouth Town Hall. He's remembered for his skill as a senator, trying to keep the United States out of a civil war. And he lived in Marshfield, served as Secretary of State, negotiated treaties from that site, and just was an all-around well-known person. President John F. Kennedy included Daniel Webster in his book Profile on Courage for all his great things that he did. I mentioned it was National Chocolate Chip Day this year. We all know where the chocolate chip came from. It came from Plymouth County. Ruth Graves Wakefield, who was an owner of the Toll House, invented the Toll House cookie. The Toll House was built in 1709. People used to come with carriages and pay a toll to get by there. In 1933, Ruth Graves Wakefield ran out of Baker's chocolate while making a cookie, cut up some Nestle semi-sweet chocolate bars, put them in the cookie batter, and voila, she came up with the chocolate chip cookie. She sold that recipe to Nestle. It still remains on the back of the package of those Nestle semi-sweet chocolate morsels. When people make chocolate chip cookies, they're using her recipe. She died in 1977. The Toll House burned down, and her cookie lives on. It's the official cookie of Massachusetts. The next notable record, Priscilla Beach Theater, the oldest summer stock barn theater in America, was a training ground for people like Paul Newman, for Rob Reiner and others. They had a sold-out season last year. They've really been ramping up their program, and it's a great place down in Manamet, and is a training facility for many new young actors even today. I want to thank Lorna Green Baker, Christine Richards, Tom Bolus, the Plymouth Council on Aging individuals for the set today. I want to thank Erica Christensen and David Antoine and the folks here at PAC TV who let me put this show together, share this information with the people of Plymouth County to help you understand what's going on with our real estate market and help you protect what for most people is your most valuable asset. So have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you next month.